Hey, good evening. How are you, my friend?
So,
So,
what's in store for us in season 3 of Commands and Colors Agents?
well, we have arrived at expansion number 3, the Roman Civil Wars, and I think we have a jam-packed season ahead of us. Welcome to all of you watching out there in YouTube land. We are so happy to have you continuing on this journey with us. This is a great opportunity. If this is your first one watching these, we're going to reset kind of back to zero and reintroduce ourselves and welcome you again. Then we will get on to yet another exciting scenario from this first battle that we're going to engage in the Roman Civil War. It's a period of strife, without a doubt. Would you like to take the first go round? Would you like to reintroduce yourself to the home audience out there tonight?
I guess.
Sure. No, don't let me twist your arm.
I'm Peter. Patrick and I have been friends for these many years now. As we get into our graying years, I have a background in miniature wargaming. So when Patrick hit me up to play some wargaming board games, I was more than happy to jump in and while away the time while we stayed quarantined at home. So and we've been keeping this up now for over a year now, and we're glad that you're sharing this experience with us.
We are indeed. We hope to entertain you with some modicum of perhaps strategy or advice for any of you actually playing this along at home. I do see online some people are kind of shadowing our efforts, which is very flattering. I really appreciate that. But let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Patrick. This is Patrick's Tactics and Tutorials. I am the program director of this erstwhile YouTube channel, and as Peter said, we started this endeavor as part of the quarantine period. It seemed like a really good idea at the time, and it has been a great joy to do this. It's something to look forward to each and every week. If you're not familiar with the format, the way we will do this is we do play one scenario each and every week. One of us gets the dubious honor of doing the background research that leads up so that you have some context for the battle that is being spotlighted here. This is no exception. We've already done the base game, which is the first, I think, 15 scenarios from the Second Punic War. And then we did the Greeks in Eastern Kingdom with all the various and sundry jumps through time, so you get a little bit of information about that. And then we just finished I guess officially we're on season 4 because it's our third expansion, but whatever. We finished the Rome versus the Barbarians expansion, and we got to see all kinds of things with servile wars and insurrections and fights against the Germanics and the Celtic tribes and all the Gauls in between. So now we move on to the actual meat and potatoes, the Roman Civil Wars. For those of you looking to buy this expansion, I believe, is currently in reprint as of this airing, or as we record this. And they've bundled it to make it a little more cost effective. They've actually bundled the Rome versus the Barbarians and the Roman Civil Wars together in one Commands and Colors expansion, so you can double your gaming for a modest price at the GMT website. So definitely take a look at that if you want to follow along. We do encourage that. And as per usual, the comments section there is for your benefit. So if you have some wisdom or some experience with any one of these scenarios, do feel free to opine. That's what it's there for, and we love hearing your feedback each and every week. With all that out of the way, I guess we can start tonight. I have a lot to unpack. This first scenario tonight is brief, as they do with each of these expansion packs. They ease you in with something. On paper, as we see here, it's very simple. It's only 5 banners, but there's a lot of background information, and I'm going to try to reduce that down to a few minutes. Doing the research for this one was particularly challenging because there are tendrils to all sorts of things that we've experienced before. So I'm going to try to distill it down to the basic information. I would also recommend for anybody who's interested in any of this period of Rome, Michael Duncan has a fantastic podcast that he did about 10 or 12 years ago called the history of Rome, and he will articulate much of this information that I'm attempting to unpack here in greater detail with a spotlight on all the principal players, and he will do it much better justice than I will tonight. So please do pardon the dust. This is an amateur level attempt. So tonight we are looking at the Battle of the Colline Gate, or Colline Gate, and this is the end of what was ostensibly the first huge civil war that Rome encountered. Now, they had lots of individual factional fighting throughout the period of time when the Roman peninsula was coming together. But this one, if we're using a Lucasfilm text crawl at the beginning of our story, it is a period of civil war. And this story is full of treachery, intrigue, backstabbing, literally and figuratively. And this is a time when Rome is actually awash in blood. And whenever you're in charge of Rome at this period, don't hold your breath, because you are not going to be in charge of Rome for long. So to give us the background of this, you and I saw the principles of this way back in the last expansion pack at the Battle of Vercelli, which I believe was the 7th scenario in the early fights against the Germanic tribes. And we learned a lot about Marius at that time. We knew that he was going to institute a lot of reform both on the military side, but he was also part of the Roman society, which was sort of known as the populares, which means he was a fan of the little guy. He believed that social status was not the principal force in a person's life. So he wanted to help reform Roman society so that everybody, not just the rich landowners, but everybody had a vote and had citizenship, no matter where they were born into in anywhere in Italy. And that included all of the Italian allies and tribes that made up the geography of the Italian peninsula. So Marius has done all that. He was, at that time, an unheard of elected consul 6 times. And we get to a point where his friendship and his compatrionship with a man named Sulla, who we see on the map here tonight, they fought together in these wars, and at some point there is a schism, because Sulla is from the Optimates. He believes that social status is completely determined by your wealth and upbringing and land ownership and all those things that the upper crust should have in Roman society. So we're going to see from the period of, that was about 100 BC up until right about here, about 90 BC, we're going to see that 20-year period is full of lots of internal struggle, strife, jockeying for political power. So many details that I cannot even possibly go into. But the biggest thing that happened at that time in the late 90s BC, we had the social war, and that's when all of that class fighting between the lower classes and the upper classes in Rome came to a head. And the attempt was by the Marian factions to help use the power of the Senate and their leadership to grant citizenship to all the individual tribes, the Etruscans and the Samnites and the Lucasians and all of these tribes that make up the quote Italian allies. And they all want the same rights and privileges as a citizen of Rome would have. And of course the Optimates, they fight this. So all of that is going to carry over and transcend into these military struggles for wealth and power. I mean, it always comes down to money and privilege. So we have a situation here where at the end of the social war, Marius is in power, and he and Sulla have their sort of greatest falling out. Sulla has taken control of some of the eastern armies, and he's off fighting. And the faction of Marius and Cinna, who we also saw as one of the other generals, they form a tight-knit group. They are in control of Rome at this time, and they sneak through a lot of proposals that will accomplish all of those goals that they wanted to do. And Sulla hears of this, and he controls 3 or 4 legions with him, and he comes back and actually does a march on Rome. And this is the first time we see that bellicose behavior where everything that they ever wanted to prevent with a Roman army marching on the gates of Rome itself happens. And Sulla, of course, immediately drives out Marius. Marius, to his only power, his only military force that he had within the gates of Rome were the gladiators. So he actually threw the gladiators out there to help defend Rome itself, and they were just completely wiped out in short time. So he flees the city with his son, Marius the Younger, and they go to Africa and they bide their time. And this was around 87 BC. And you can see we're still a few years removed from our situation here. Well, Sulla captures Rome and he immediately starts a purge of all of those sympathetic to Marius and Cinna. That happens for a few years, and then something happens back in Greece that calls him away. He actually will lead the forces to go against Mithridates, which another scenario I believe we've seen in the past in one of the expansions. So he leads his forces over there, and of course Marius and his son and Cinna take the opportunity to build a force and come back to Rome and recapture Rome. And what do? They have a purge of all of the followers of Sulla, so that the person he left in charge was a man named by Octavius. He is killed, and all of those supporting Sulla are hunted down and executed in a most gruesome fashion. It's to the point where Cinna, being the more conservative side of these two, has to have his troops fight and kill Marius's troops, who are just full of bloodlust and are attacking and killing all of these wealthy landowners. So they wrest control away from Sulla, and they have it ever so briefly. And they enact some other reforms while Sulla is away. And Marius is actually crowned, or he's elected proconsul for a seventh time. And he's consul about a month, and then he dies. And now Cinna is in charge. So with all of this going on, Sulla is still in the east. He hears about it, and he realizes he has to come back to Rome and try to take it again. And in fact, Cinna tries to preempt this by taking some legions over the Adriatic to try to attack Sulla while he's in the east. And what do his forces do? Well, they realize it's a dangerous effort, and there's no blood and treasure for them. So they just kill Cinna, and they say, we're not going. So they mutiny him, kill him, and now Sulla he's got the walkway just completely open for him to just come back and take Rome. So he does that. However, the Samnites we see here have allied together with some of the Marian sympathetic forces, and they are defending Rome once again. So that leads us to our battle here tonight. This is like a 2-year struggle for Rome proper. This is the final epic battle at the northern gate, the Colline gate from the Roman city, along 2 of the major avenues. And what we see here is Sulla is he's inside the city, and he's trying to defend it from Samnite counterattacks. And the leader for the Samnites up there is a gentleman by the name of Pontius. He is attempting to get into the Roman walls here. Sulla, and we see another familiar face here, Crassus, who's another one of the Optimates. Later will go on to be the killer of Spartacus. They are defending the actual gate itself. It gets to the point where their forces are pressed all the way up to the walls. Their legions want to actually come back in, and the forces inside the gates actually threw the portcullis down so that they couldn't come back in. They said, no, you're out there, you're fighting. So basically the left flank crumples under Pontius, and then Crassus is doing really, really well on his flank, to the point where he sends a messenger back to Sulla and says, hey, can we have dinner? Can we just break? Because we're doing great over here. And that's the point when Sulla says, hey, I need your forces over here to help me. And the combined effort between the two of them actually managed to rout the Samnites away from their camp. This is one of the bloodiest battles that we've seen. All told, between both sides, there were about 50,000 casualties at the end of the day. It was one very strong day of fighting right on the gates of Rome. It continued the bloodshed that would plague Rome for another 20 to 30 years until all of it settled down. And once again, they had a united Rome and a common enemy. But the aftermath of this is Marius' son is hunted down. He commits suicide in hiding, but they still band his body around on the the walls of Rome and say, let this be a lesson to you. Anyone trying to take on Sulla will meet a similar fate. So that is our exciting first scenario. That's way more background than we will probably spend playing the game tonight because it's so short. But it does prove to be a precursor to all of the stories that we're going to see here in the next scenario pack. So I will leave you to tell us a little bit about the War Council tonight, and I will take a drink of water.
Well earned a drink of water, I'd say.
Thank you.
So you'll notice we've gone back to the game box and we've broken out our gray Roman blocks, and I think this will probably be a theme throughout this series as it's Roman versus Roman. So in this battle, even though one side is using the gray blocks and the other side is using the red, both sides will be using the Marius Legion special rule introduced in the last expansion. Essentially, that means all the medium troops can also throw a spear, so they can act as a ranged unit, as well as a hard-hitting melee unit. Specifically for this scenario, we are playing to 5 banners, and you'll notice this curious rampart structure down at the bottom of the battlefield. And that indicates those are the walls of Rome itself. And for this battle, those walls are impassable. A little bit of a shortened battlefield here for the combatants. So I think given that, and given that only 2 hexes separate both lines, it's going to be a line command or double time, and we're going to be right into the thick of it tonight.
I would concur.
I will start with Romans. Patrick will start with Pontius. He'll have 5 command cards, and you get to go first, and I will respond in kind with 6. There we go.
And what about these camps up here?
Oh, yes, the camps. If a Roman unit occupies an enemy camp at the start of the Roman player's turn, the Roman player gains 1 victory banner that cannot be lost, and we will remove the camp tile as we sack it. We will collect that victory banner before the Roman player plays a command card.
Well, very cut and dry tonight, I think. I hope this will be the start of some better luck for me here on the dice, but we'll certainly take what we can get. So I'm going to draw my 5 cards first. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm all set. And as always, good luck to you.
Oh, yeah. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
We're all fine here. I think I will do 2 on the left here. Those 2. And we'll do 1 to there, 2, 3 to there. And this Auxilia, of course, having only moved once, can throw some spears. So they'll throw 1 spear at your light slingers here, 1 die, and get nothing. So that is my first move.
We'll start here with the slingers.
Jerks.
They will let loose with some stones at that medium cavalry. Slingers don't have a range of 3 hexes, so you're only 1 hex away from me. I didn't move, so I'll get to roll 2 dice. There you go. And I miss. So, yeah, there's that. Okay. This medium infantry is going to attack that Auxilia. They'll roll 4 dice since they are adjacent to their leader Crassus. That means they'll hit on green circles, cross swords, and the leader symbol. So 3 symbols on a d6 have a chance to hit the Auxilia. Auxilia are resilient. They will not opt to fall back. So here we go with 4 dice.
Yikes!
Or 3 hits.
3 hits indeed.
The Auxilia get to fight back. They normally roll 3 dice in combat.
Yes, Yes, indeed. And I have no leader support, so just straight up 3 dice. And I get a hit.
They are the only green unit that will hit with crossed swords. Then, because of the Marius special rule, this medium infantry unit can throw a spear, and they will throw it at that auxiliate with 1 die. Only a green circle will help. Or a retreat flag. They'll have to fall back out of combat. And then Crassus will lead his cavalry into combat with Patrick's cavalry. This will be 3 dice. Again, blue triangles, cross swords, and since I've got a leader, the leader symbol will be an effective hit. Only 1.
Okay, and I will give you 3 back myself. Ooh, and I give you 2 hits.
He's hit me twice, so I'm going to lose 2 blocks from my stack. Since there's a leader attached to that unit, there is a chance the leader might get hit. So he'll roll 2 dice while he's still in a stack of blocks. He rolls 2 leader symbols. Crassus will fall.
And here is the leader check. Oh, almost.
Only 1. So since Patrick also rolled a flag, that would typically mean the unit would fall back. But in this case, the unit supported. It has 2 friendly units on either side of it. And it also still has its leader. And since that leader didn't fall, they could ignore any flags that are rolled.
Well, you did say it would come to this, so...
I did.
You did. You did. So we might as well make the best of it. Let's go 1, 2... 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay. Let's start here. Against your medium cav, and of course they have an option there.
Yes, since they're a mounted unit against a foot unit, they can opt to fall back, and I will elect to do so. They will evade. So now only the blue triangles will hit, regardless of the unit rolling the die.
And here is my attempt with 3 dice trying to get 1 triangle. And I do not.
That means I can't retaliate, and I will... Oops. They will fall back 2.
And sadly, that means I cannot take ground because he evaded. So that unit is just done. Alright, next we will... We will do our powerhouse here. We have mediums versus mediums. So this will be a 4 dice attack. And they get a hit and a retreat. Interesting. Okay. I could take ground there because he did. So I think I will take ground, but I cannot combat again, sadly, with that because I don't have a leader. This medium, or this auxiliary unit, will attempt to attack that medium unit as well with 3 dice. And they get 2 hits.
Now retaliate with 4 dice. And get 2 hits as well, and cause a retreat.
And cause a retreat. So we will come back to there. And then finally, these who are about to die, we salute them. They will do 3 dice against your mediums and see if they can take them down before you get a chance to kill me. So here we go. 3 dice. And only 1 hit.
4 dice to retaliate.
And that'll do. And that is the end of my turn.
Or dice against your mediums with leader support. Medium units don't have the option to evade. They don't have to stand and fight. 2 hits.
2 hits. And we will give back what we got with 4 dice. Oh, if only I had a leader present.
Now the unit will follow up with 3 dice. That's going to hurt.
This could spell the end of Crassus, and maybe the saving of Spartacus later. We'll see. Alright, 4 dice back. And yes, it does. So now that that unit's been eliminated, I will roll a single die to see if I kill Crassus while he is in the field alone. Otherwise, he must evade. And he lives.
Same unit, 4 dice.
Yeah, yes, definite.
And going after that auxiliary with 4 dice. All it took was for Crassus to be unhorsed for these Romans to find their stomach.
To be inspired. Okay, well, it's a very interesting situation we've got here. Alright, we'll do 3 on the left. Just because it seems like if I don't take the opportunity... Alright, those 2... Dangerous. But we gotta try. Probably foolhardy, but we're going to see if we can't kill Crassus here. So this will be 3 dice looking for a single leader symbol. And we don't. However, the area behind him is impassable.
If the leader cannot evade a minimum of 1 hex due to impassable terrain, the leader is eliminated and the opponent gains 1 victory banner.
Well, woohoo! That's one way of doing it. Alright, so he will then advance, move 1 hex, and he will battle again against those mediums there. Again, push. Ah, very nice! Ooh, just 1 hit.
Only Crassus was here.
If only Crassus was. Alright, 3 dice back. Just 1 hit. Okay, well then it comes down to this group to try to finish them off. So 3 dice, looking for a sword or a triangle. And we do. Okay. And that is all. Alright, so I believe it is time to evade myself. So we will get out of there if we can. And we do! We will continue to evade. Ah, luck ran out. We'll do leadership any section. So it's leaders hex plus 3 additional. Do those. So he will come out to there. There. And these slingers here will throw some stones at your auxilia. They did not move, so 2 dice. Got a hit. And that is all.
Those two of my units on the right. 2 dice from Slinger Stones.
Uh-oh.
There's a hit.
That's not good.
All up by an attack by the mediums. A hit and a retreat.
All right. All right. I'm going to go for it. Okay. Do those mediums against your auxilia with 4 dice. Get 1.
2.
Of course. And then the slingers, unfit for close combat, but we send them in 2 dice. Green circles only. And they get a retreat. Okay. These guys will go against your light slingers there. And they have an option to evade if they wish. They will stand.
They will stand.
Like men. 3 dice. And we get 2 retreats.
So, when a unit is retreating and it cannot retreat, will lose blocks. In this case, with 2 flags, I have to make 2 retreats. Light Slingers would normally retreat 2 hexes. So they will move 2 hexes. And there are 3 more hexes I can't move. So 1, 2, 3.
And sadly, my auxilia there cannot throw because they are tangled up with the mediums. So they will choose instead to not fight. And that will end my turn. Very nice. Can he close the deal with 6 dice?
6 dice on the auxilia.
No, close. 3 hits and a
3.
retreat. 1, 2, 3, and a retreat. And these guys will absolutely evade that. Get 1 hit.
Oh.
Okay, we'll do 2 in the center. Let's see if we can also close the deal. Alright, we'll start here. With 4 dice, looking for swords and green circles. And we get 2. It is all tied up, ladies and gentlemen. And now Pontius rides forth. Is there another first strike card in hand? He wonders aloud. Guess not. So 3 dice. Now getting leaders plus swords plus triangles. And we finish it.
Well done.
Thank you. This one is, yeah, it's a scatter. And the cards I had were like, hey, you can move these units way over here that don't help you at all. I'm like, eh. Plus I got heavy troops, and that's terrible. So, thank you. Yeah, that was brisk. Very brisk. It could have gone either way there. I mean, with the Clash of Shields, I thought you had it. Especially mediums against auxilia. But such are the fortunes of war.
And dice.
And dice. And cards. So we take a little halftime break here. We walk this off. I'm going to go see what mess the cat made, and we'll be right back with round number 2. And we are back with round number 2. Let's see if the fortunes for the Samnites can continue with you in charge. And we can press them back and perhaps get them away from the Roman gate. So I will let you draw your cards first, sir.
I'll draw 5 cards this time.
And 6 for me. 2, 3, 6. I believe I got your cards. Well, then off you go. And good luck once again.
Thank you. I think this will be a good card to start the battle with. Move, fire, move. Right. So. Spear. 1 spear. Hey!
Boo!
And 1 spear. Over here. 1 spear. Really?
I think it's telling me you should
Ooh.
aim at something else.
Oh, so. There we go. And that is our move.
Interesting. I think we'll do leadership, any section. Those 4 units. And Crassus will come over here. And they will go there. And that is all.
More posturing this time.
A tad. A tad more posturing.
The fights are always better in the second round, folks.
I think we'll do a mounted charge.
That's not good.
And sadly, oops, only Crassus is available at the moment. Sulla is tied up in the gate. And we're going to go 1, 2 to there. And we're going to attack those light slingers there. And I'm going to get 4 dice with this one. What would the slingers like to do? They'll evade, okay. So here's 4 dice, looking for green circles only. And I get 1. Hither away to the camp. And I cannot advance because he evaded, so that is the end.
Very curious. What are you planning?
I'm making this up as I go.
Okay. Three dice with leader support. 2 hits.
2 hits. Okay.
Leader check. Close.
Crassus lives. He gives 3 dice back to Pontius with leader support. And wipes him out. Okay, here's 1 die for Pontius. He lives.
Wow.
Well,
Didn't quite have the impact I hoped it would.
this is too good to pass up. So we'll do that. Okay. Do this one first against your auxilia. It's going to be 4 dice. Oh, need the leadership. No, I didn't get leadership. I needed it. You suffered no hits from me.
Oh, it's the one down there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Bad order. So
Oh.
okay,
No. Okay.
and you had a light heavy leader, so nothing on me. Okay, so question now is,
You can't do that again.
uh, what do you mean? Oh, I can't do that again, can I? All right. Huh.
Famous last words.
Who is the bigger threat at the moment? Taking a block or eliminating that? It's difficult, if not impossible, to do that. So, yes, the mediums will go attempt again to show their brothers in arms how it's done with 4 dice plus leader bonus this time. And 3 hits.
Well, effectively the same thing.
Yeah. But you get. Ooh.
Oh.
Well, I'm supported on 1.
Oh. Oh no. Oh.
So I will take 1 hit, and then I am supported for 1 flag, but I must take the second, and that's a second hit. And there you go. Okay. And now this one will go 4 dice against your auxilia there. No leadership. I need some leadership. Where's my leadership? 4 dice. Ugh. We force a retreat, however. Almost went after that cavalry, too. Damn it. Okay. That is all. A lot of flank chasing on this one. As you say, posturing.
After that cavalry.
Okay. We will evade.
All right. So only the triangles will help. For those mediums.
Nowhere to go. Except dead.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think I will also use a Clash of Shields here.
Mm.
And we'll activate all 3, but I doubt all of them will get to participate. So we'll do this one first. You will get 5 dice against your auxilia with leader bonus. And he gets it. So we can advance and move 1 hex and battle again with regular battle dice, sadly. So we'll go after those auxilia there with 3 dice plus leader. Get a hit, and you're supported.
Wow. Okay. 3 dice back at you with leader support.
That was unfortunate, but Crassus was hasty. Crassus lives, and he'll fall back. 1, 2 to there. And then these guys over here will get 6 dice against your auxilia there. So here we go, 6 dice. And 3 hits and a retreat. And that is all.
That one.
Yes, that'll do.
All right. 3 dice on your medium.
Mm. 2 hits. And we must retreat. Three in the center. Go there. Alright, so we're going to get 4 dice plus leader bonus. And 3 hits in our retreat. And Crassus's guys will just throw a spear at them. So 1 die. Nothing. Alright.
I like that card. Three dice against those mediums.
No bueno.
And 4 dice against Crassus. 1.
1 hit.
And a retreat if you want to take it. But
Well,
since you do have a leader, you can stand your ground and fight back.
let's see what that leader check says first.
That's true. That's true. You might have a choice, but you do. You have a choice.
And we will stand and fight back with 4 dice. Plus leader bonus. And 2 hits. We'll do 3 in the center. Alright, Crassus attempts to finish with 4 dice plus leader bonus. He does just ever so barely. And
As a unit with a leader attached to it, you have the option of advancing and attacking again.
I do.
Well, you will elect to do so.
Wow. Now, this is one of those times when this is a quiz for our viewers. I have just advanced Crassus in there with 4 potential targets. Please, in the comment section, indicate which target you would attack and why, and see if it differs from what I'm about to do. And I have not decided yet. So I can see the rationale for an attack on all of them. Let's go through them. If I attack the mediums, I could potentially wipe out the medium before you can use it offensively. If I attack Pontius, that takes away potential leadership. If I attack the Auxilia, that's a simple 1 die block with good odds of killing it. And same with the medium cavalry. If he doesn't evade, there's a chance I could rout him through a retreat. So, all good options. Peter and I will talk about afterwards what he would do. I think, being as close as it is, I'm going to go for the Auxilia. Okay, so it's 4 dice plus leader
The
bonus.
quote-unquote sure thing.
4. Thanks. 4 dice leader bonus, and I get it. Okay. So I will not take a secondary advance, and I will just end my turn. And there you go. I'm hoping you don't have a activate medium. Okay, 3 in the center. So that at least cuts down my worry about that medium cavalry.
All right. 4 dice with leader support.
Close. 2 hits. But does Crassus fall? Crassus lives barely. All right, 4 dice back with leader bonus for the game.
I did have an order mounted, but I figured the odds of rolling 4 dice versus 3 were better.
This was the first one. I mean, you saw it here, folks, where I when you're presented with such a choice in the second game, you don't want to screw it up, but you gotta weigh all the possibilities. And I just thought for certain that you had another coordinated attack and you were going to whip those guys around. But when you did the counterattack, I thought, okay, well that's good. Good games. Good way to start.
You're starting off on a streak. 2 games.
All right.
This is the
Yes.
expansion where you turn it around.
So I think it is 10-7. I think 10-7 for this first series. And that's +3 for me. Hooray! I'm chipping away, baby. So what do you think? And then of course we do the post game show here analysis. Terry, JB, and all them they tell us what they think of the scenario. Could we have done anything different? What we learned between game 1 and game 2, and I will let my erstwhile compatriot take the first analysis.
As you've seen in most of these initial fights for an expansion, they are very, very straightforward, simple affairs. I think both of us tonight just kind of struggled with the hands of cards we received. The Samnite player is a little out of sorts because the majority of his forces are green versus the blue forces that the Roman players are commanding. So they've got to be a little bit more careful about picking and choosing their fights. And I tried to do that, but just couldn't overcome that Roman sledgehammer.
Well, I mean, you
And it was hot dice.
yeah, hot dice. I'll never see it again. 23 more scenarios and they'll go cold tomorrow. But exactly right. When I was the Samnite player, I had that wall of Auxilia and I had 2 double time cards right out of the gate. And I said to myself, well, finding the optimal time to use that, but do I really want to use it on Auxilia? And the only choice that I could think of was to double team the Auxilia on the light slingers on each end, but that requires a little bit of setup, and of course they're likely going to evade. So the secondary choice becomes: do you double 2 Auxilia on one medium unit and try to chop them down? And that's going to be costly. As you saw, it was a 5-4 affair, and no matter what you do, it's all going to come down to just that moment of dice luck. I think that it is the tough choice for the Samnite player. Does how far do you advance before you get away from those camps, and is that a going concern for the Roman to even pursue those camps? I don't think this scenario really warrants it. It's a nice little gift to dangle out there, but with 5 blocks, I think you can achieve those a lot easier with some laser strikes right out of the gate. And of course, this mocked me because I had 2 mounted charges as well. I was like, no, this is not my hand. That's Peter's hand.
That's right.
Well, good deal. So we are officially underway then for our Roman Civil Wars. And as I said, a lot of these are back on the P500. So if you don't have a copy of Commands and Colors Ancients yet, this is a perfect starter game for any of your friends that are interested in some light wargaming. Of course, it is. I have found this is one of those games that fetches a premium on the secondary market because somebody has done all the block stickering for you. So if you can find a stickered copy, then you're worth paying a little extra for it because, of course, unless the guy was just all thumbs and he put everything on wrong, well, that could happen. But this is where we give you the weekly admonition to click the like button, the subscribe button, click the little bell for the notifications, and more than anything, give us your feedbacks down in the comment section. You may be brief, you may be verbose, whatever you like. That is for your benefit. And we certainly appreciate you following along and joining us week in and week out. Thank you, sir, for another fine set of games tonight. And you get to do the historical research for next week.
All right. I look forward to it.
Well, with that, we will say adieu until next time. Have a great one, Peter.
Good night.
Good night.